When it comes to attraction and intimacy, many people mistakenly expect women to communicate their desires as directly as men often do. But the truth is, women tend to operate on a different frequency, one that's often quieter, more intuitive, and emotionally layered. When a woman is interested in being physically intimate, she may not come out and say it. Instead, she'll express it in ways that allow her to gauge your emotional intelligence, your respect for her boundaries, and your ability to read between the lines. This isn't about playing games, it's about emotional safety. For a woman, being physically vulnerable with someone isn't just about chemistry, it's also about trust. So instead of saying, "I want to sleep with you," she might choose words or behaviors that invite you to understand her feelings without her having to spell them out. The first clue lies in the way she engages in conversation. If you're paying attention, you'll notice a shift in tone when she starts testing your emotional awareness. She might talk about hypothetical situations, share stories that brush up against sensual or intimate experiences, or ask questions that place you in those scenarios. It's her way of seeing how you respond, not just with your words, but with your energy. Are you respectful? Are you listening deeply? Are you attuned to her comfort level? If the answers are yes, she continues. If not, she retreats. She might also begin to soften her presence around you. Her body language becomes more open. She makes longer eye contact, smiles more often, and lets her guard down. She may lean in closer when you speak, lightly touch your arm during a joke, or play with her hair when you're talking. All these subtle cues are ways of signaling interest. And if you're emotionally intelligent, you won't just focus on the physical signs. You'll recognize the trust she's placing in you to interpret them thoughtfully. Another powerful sign is when she starts using suggestive language, though again, not in a crass or overtly sexual way. She might say things like, "I always feel so relaxed when I'm around you," or "There's something about your energy that just makes me feel safe." These aren't just compliments. They're indicators of emotional vulnerability. When a woman starts speaking in terms of feelings and comfort, she's opening a door, but she won't push you through it. She's waiting to see if you're paying attention. This is where many men fail. They misread her softness as hesitation, or worse, assume that the lack of directness means she's not interested. What they don't understand is that this indirectness is intentional. It's how she protects herself. A woman wants to know that the man she's considering being intimate with can handle her heart before he touches her body. She's watching how you move in conversations, how you treat other people, how you respond when she's vulnerable. If you dismiss her cues, interrupt her feelings, or jump straight to physical advances without acknowledging the emotional buildup, she'll pull away, no matter how attracted she may be. It's also important to understand that when a woman uses subtlety, she's giving you space to show your own intentions. If you're truly interested, you'll pick up on the signs and respond with equal delicacy. You'll mirror her energy. You'll make her feel even more comfortable. And if you're not sure what she means, you'll ask, not out of pressure, but out of respect. That simple act of asking, "What did you mean by that?" or "Can I ask you something personal?" can be incredibly attractive when done with care. In the end, a woman's signals aren't hidden. They're just not loud. They live in her tone, her words, her touch, and her vulnerability. She wants to know that you see her fully, not just physically. And if you can meet her on that level, she'll let you in. Not because you forced the door open, but because you waited, watched, and respected the rhythm she needed to feel safe. So no, she won't say, "I want to sleep with you." But she might say, "I've never felt this safe around anyone before." That's not just a compliment, that's an invitation. The question is, are you listening when a woman tells you she feels comfortable around you? Most men don't realize the depth behind those words. It might sound casual or even platonic, but it carries far more meaning than you think. In a woman's emotional language, comfort isn't just about how fun or easy you are to talk to. It's often a quiet way of saying, "I feel safe enough with you to be more of myself, maybe even all of myself." And when a woman feels emotionally safe, The possibility of physical intimacy becomes more open. Unlike men, women don't separate emotional safety from physical connection as easily. Her desire to be close to you physically is directly tied to how secure she feels in your presence. That's why when she says things like, "I don't know what it is, but I just feel so comfortable with you," she's not just giving a random compliment, she's signaling that she's beginning to trust you, not just as a person, but as a potential intimate partner. But this comfort isn't created by chance. It's built through consistent emotional responses, how you listen to her, how you react to her thoughts, how you respect her boundaries, and how you create a space where she feels unjudged. You'll notice that as this comfort builds, she starts to share more vulnerable sides of herself. She tells you about things she usually keeps private. Her voice softens and her presence around you becomes more open. These are her ways of letting you know, "I'm beginning to trust you with parts of me I don't show to everyone." If she begins saying things like, "I can tell you anything," or "I feel like I've known you for so long," don't dismiss those words as cliches. They're deeply emotional statements, and for many women, that feeling of connection and comfort is the doorway to something more intimate. She's testing the waters emotionally before allowing the physical to follow. She's saying, "If I ever decide to be close with you, it would be because I feel safe, not just turned on." This is also why women often take longer to decide whether they want to be physically involved with someone. It's not hesitation, it's protection. She needs to be sure that the man she's opening herself to emotionally will also protect her physically, mentally, and spiritually. So when she starts affirming her comfort around you, it means that protective wall is starting to drop. You might also notice that this comfort evolves into physical closeness, even in small ways. She sits closer than usual. She doesn't flinch when your hands accidentally brush. She lets your hugs linger. She initiates touch, maybe subtle, resting her hand on yours when she's laughing, leaning her head on your shoulder when she's tired, or brushing imaginary lint off your clothes. These aren't just friendly gestures. They're signals. They say, "I'm comfortable enough with you to let you into my physical space." And that's a very big deal. What makes this even more significant is that women don't use this language with just anyone. She might be surrounded by friends or acquaintances all day long, but if she singles you out as someone she feels especially at ease with, it means you've crossed into a new level of connection. It's not about being the funniest or the most attractive. It's about being the person who sees her fully and makes her feel seen without pressure. It's also important to notice the timing. A woman won't say she's comfortable around you if you've only just met. But if you've spent some time together, talking, laughing, sharing experiences, and she chooses to bring that up, she's letting you know something deeper is happening. She might say it in passing, in a low moment during a quiet night drive, or when she's reflecting on how your presence feels different from others. That's when you pay attention. That's when you slow down and listen, not just to what she's saying, but to what she's really saying. Ultimately, when a woman says she feels comfortable around you, it's one of the clearest signs she's beginning to see you as more than just company. It's her way of saying, "You're someone I could be safe with even in my most vulnerable state." And if you handle that comfort with care, with presence, and with emotional maturity, it may just lead to a deeper, more meaningful connection. One that includes physical intimacy, not as the goal, but as a natural extension of trust. When a woman starts bringing up topics that involve physical closeness, especially in playful or indirect ways, it's often a powerful clue about her attraction. These moments may seem like casual jokes or innocent comments, but to a woman, they're strategic tests. She's watching how you respond. She's gauging how comfortable you are with the idea of intimacy, and whether or not you can pick up on subtle invitations without making her feel unsafe or judged. If she starts teasing you about your bed being comfy, or jokes about staying over, or says something like, "I bet your blanket game is weak," these aren't just random comments. They're small, deliberate nudges that hint at a deeper interest. Women don't usually initiate physical intimacy with blunt, forward statements. That's not how most of them are wired emotionally. They're more likely to wrap their intentions in laughter, curiosity, or playful hypotheticals. That's why comments like, "I'm so tired I could totally crash here," or "What would you do if I showed up at your place in the middle of the night?" can't be brushed off as jokes alone. She's checking your vibe. She's inviting a reaction, not necessarily a physical one right away, but an emotional signal to see if you're tuned into her wavelength. She may also use these moments to see if you'll create a safe space for more intimacy. If she brings up the idea of staying over, even hypothetically, she wants to know whether you'll respond with respect or pressure. She's looking for how you react to the possibility of being alone together in a private space. Do you rush toward the idea like you've been waiting for it? Or do you smile, stay calm, and make her feel seen beyond the surface? That reaction tells her everything she needs to know about whether she can trust you. Another sign is how she begins to create opportunities for closeness in physical environments. For example, she might say she's cold and snuggle up next to you under a blanket. She might lean in during a movie night, rest her head on your shoulder, or casually stretch herself closer to your side of the couch. All these little moves, when initiated by her, are not just about comfort. They are about testing your awareness. If she felt nothing, she wouldn't do them, but if she feels drawn to you, her body language begins to reflect it subtly. She may also start playfully breaking the touch barrier, using humor or mock teasing. "I bet you're the type who hogs all the covers," she might say. Or, "You look like someone who'd sleep like a rock, I'd probably get no space." These comments might sound funny, but they're layered with intention. They serve as trial balloons to see if you respond with emotional maturity, or if you immediately sexualize the moment in a way that makes her uncomfortable. What makes these signs so powerful is their emotional camouflage. They're not declarations, they're tests to see if you can lead with respect, if you're perceptive, and if you're patient. Because the truth is, she may already know she's attracted to you. She may have already imagined what being close to you would feel like. But she needs to be sure that your attraction isn't just about the physical, that you'll protect her heart even more than her body. So she drops these hints like breadcrumbs, hoping you'll pick them up with care, not with greed. And here's something men often miss. If she feels safe enough to joke about sleeping over, it means you've passed multiple internal tests. You've made her feel emotionally grounded, listened to, and respected. And now she's seeing if the next level of connection is possible. But if you react too quickly, too aggressively, or too crudely, she may immediately pull back, not because she wasn't interested, but because you showed her you didn't recognize the trust wrapped inside her humor. At the end of the day, these subtle hints aren't about manipulation. They're about emotional safety. A woman wants to be desired, yes, but more than that, she wants to be understood. When she makes a playful comment about sharing your bed or staying over, she's offering you a peek behind her emotional curtain. She's saying in her own language, "I'm considering the idea of being closer to you. Can you handle that with grace?" The men who understand this don't rush it. They lean into the moment with calm, appreciation, and patience. They respond to the feeling, not just the words, and because of that, they earn more than just attention. They earn trust, desire, and connection. When a woman is truly interested in being intimate, she won't always say it out loud, but her actions will begin to create opportunities for that connection to happen. One of the strongest signs is when she starts finding reasons to spend time with you in private, uninterrupted spaces. This could come in the form of simple invitations that appear innocent on the surface but hold deeper intention. Maybe she asks you to help her with something at her place. Maybe she suggests watching a movie together at night. Or maybe she says, "You should come over sometime. I make a killer pasta." These aren't just friendly gestures, they are invitations to deeper closeness and potentially intimacy. Women are very intentional with the spaces they share. When she begins carving out moments that exclude the noise, distractions, and presence of others, it's because she wants your focus, and she wants to give you hers. Being in private creates an atmosphere where deeper conversations, relaxed energy, and emotional vulnerability can unfold naturally. And often, when a woman chooses to spend her time this way with you, she's not just enjoying your company. She's exploring how it feels to be alone with you. She's asking herself, can I be myself with him? Does he make me feel safe, seen, and desired without pressure? Think about it. When a woman says, let's hang out, but insists it should be just the two of you, she's signaling her desire to shift the energy. Public spaces come with boundaries. They offer emotional safety and distance. But private spaces allow for emotional depth, uninterrupted eye contact, playful teasing, physical closeness, and most importantly, freedom from external judgment. If she invites you into that space, it's a major sign she trusts you and is considering something deeper. But it's not just about location. It's also about timing. You'll notice that these invitations usually happen when the emotional bond between you two has already been established. Maybe you've had a few long conversations. Maybe she's opened up to you about something personal. Maybe she laughs more freely with you than anyone else. Then suddenly, she starts suggesting these private meetups. That shift is not accidental. It's her testing emotional and physical compatibility. It's her way of saying, let's see what it feels like when it's just us. There's also a pattern in the way she structures her invitations. It's often subtle, never forced. She may suggest cooking together, watching something on Netflix, showing you something in her room, or asking you to help her with something quick. That somehow lingers into hours of connection. These invitations always contain a layer of time, space, and intention. She doesn't just want to hang out. She wants to experience you in a way that feels emotionally rich and physically close, without interruptions or outside energy clouding the mood. Pay close attention to how she behaves during these private moments. Does she sit closer than usual? Does she touch you more often? Casually brushing your hand, resting her arm next to yours, laughing a bit softer and looking into your eyes a little longer. Those are not coincidences. That's her testing how intimacy with you feels, not just in the body, but in her energy. If she lets the silences stretch out between conversations without discomfort, it means she's trying to connect on a deeper level. That space she's offering is not just silence, it's invitation. Another strong sign is when she delays the end of the interaction. Maybe she finds excuses to keep you there a little longer. She might say, you don't have to leave yet. Or let's watch one more episode. She may even walk you to the door slowly, hesitating before goodbye. All of this is a gentle signal. She's not done being close to you. But here's what separates men who connect from men who blow the moment: your response. If you see her efforts and meet them with patience, care, and emotional presence, you deepen her trust. If you become pushy or try to accelerate physical intimacy too quickly, she'll retreat. Because again, it's not just about the act, it's about whether you understand her timing, her emotional pace, and the depth of her desire. So when a woman begins inviting you into her private world, especially under casual or playful pretenses, understand that you're being given a chance. Not a green light to make moves, but a door slightly open to show her you're capable of respecting, holding, and nurturing the full spectrum of intimacy she may be ready to explore with you.